I have a second positive news for you. Yesterday, I met with the General Prosecutor Shokin.
Yes.
And despite of the fact that we didn't have any corruption charges, we don't have any information about he doing something wrong, I especially asked him, no, it was the day before yesterday, I especially asked him to resign as his position as a state person, and despite of the fact that he has a support in the parliament. And as a finish of my meeting with him, he promised me to give me the statement on resignation. And 1 hour ago, he bring me the written statement of his resignation.
Great.
And this is my second step for keeping my promises.
I agree.
I said, no, I'm not going to, we're not going to give you the $1 billion. They said, you have no authority. You're not the president. The president said. I said, call him. I said, I'm telling you, you're not getting the $1 billion. I said, you're not getting the $1 billion. I'm going to be leaving here. And I think it was, 6 hours? I looked, I said, I'm leaving in 6 hours. If the prosecutor's not fired, you're not getting the money. Well, son of a bitch. Got fired. And they put in place someone who was solid.
Assuming that there is a new government and a new prosecutor general, I am prepared to do a public signing of the commitment for the $1 billion. Again, I'm not suggesting that that's what you want or don't want. I'm just suggesting that that's what we're prepared to do. And again, it wouldn't be finalized until, the IMF pieces are written.
Extremely strong motivation. One of the possible candidates was leader of my fraction, Lutsenko, who is the public figure. If you think that the political motivated figure would be not very good from your point of view, I recall this proposal. I do not propose, because nobody knows that I want to propose Lutsenko. In this situation, I take all the political motivated figures out from this process.
All right, well, look, let me when you and I finish speaking, let me huddle with my team, talk over what you and I just talked about. I agree with you, there is a sense of urgency here. Congratulations on getting the new prosecutor general. I know there's a lot more that has to be done, but I really think that's good, and I understand you're working with the rod in the coming days on a number of additional laws to secure the IMF. But congratulations on installing the new prosecutor general. It's going to be critical for him to work quickly to repair the damage Shokin did. And I'm a man of my word. And that now that the new prosecutor general is in place, we're ready to move forward in signing that new $1 billion loan guarantee. And I don't know how you want to go about that.
First of all, thank you very much indeed for these words of support. Believe me that it was very tough challenge and very difficult job. And Mrs. Timoshenko and Mr. Leshko fraction tried to break this, because we not only voted for the new prosecutor general, which we do in a very short period of time, within 1 day we changed the law. By the way, in this law we presenting the new structure of the General Prosecutor Office, including the General Inspection, as we agreed.
That's real.
And the second thing, I immediately invite Lutsenko and said that he should contact your embassy, and I would be very pleased if you will have a certain person who can come either from Washington or whenever. We have here, I don't remember his name, the Ukrainian origin American prosecutor. He is a little bit old, I sent to the Jeffrey his name, and he was ready to come and to be assistant and advisor. With a very good experience in the American system, and he can be the person of trust with the new prosecution system. I think this is exactly the right time to do that, and if he is still ready to come and to cooperate from the very first step, from the very first minute of the new prosecutor, that is exactly what I'm looking for.
Well, let me get in contact with the Justice Department and pursue that. I'll get his name and let me find out where that is, because it is in our interest, obviously, to provide professional assistance as quick as we can so this gets up and started in the right direction. So I will move on that as soon as we hang up. I'll put that in train, and I'll get back to you as to what I'm able to do.
The second thing is that I want to thank you that you give me your word that immediately when we change the legislation and I appoint the new Prosecutor General, and it would be Yuri Lutsenko as we agreed on our previous meeting in Washington, and when it happened, we can have this long guarantee, and thank you very much.
So if I understand this correctly, there was a no confidence vote. You blocked the no confidence vote, so Arseny is still there. But then there was a vote on the package that the government had put forward, and that 247 voted against that. So in terms of moving forward with additional reforms and additional things you need to do, you don't have a coalition to do that? Is that what you're telling me?
Sure, but I blocked the resignation of the government because I promised to do, just because. But now, when two fractions from four leave the coalition, we do not have a majority. This message is very important. I just want to be a little bit more accurate. So we have no doubt that we should intensively implement the reform. But we should implement the reform with the way that people trust them. Because if people do not trust the reform, this reform is impossible to implement. This is point number one. Point number two, Joe, we do not have a majority in the parliament. That is the main message.
How did you get the reforms passed just this week?
Say it again?
How did you get the reforms passed this week related to the IMF?
Because I asked personally that fraction who go out from the coalition, I mean Samopomich and Tymoshenko, that was my special meeting with them. They give me a message that because of the trust to you, Mr. President, we vote for the IMF and for the visa-free and for the anti-corruption, but we should have an intensive negotiation how to find out the way how to return this fraction back to the coalition. But they demonstrate that everything is okay, people are happy, we have a majority in the parliament. This is not true. The other fraction we can invite, but they speak only with the language of the political corruption. And I hate the idea after the Maidan, to buy the votes. Now I have, and I think we can trust each other, the party of Arseny together with me. They were together during the voting of the general prosecutor, voting of the government, voting of the IMF, and I hope we have a significant level of support. Unfortunately, this is not fully enough. This is almost majority in the parliament. And those who goes to the United States, Samopomich, Tymoshenko, and Leshko, who do not go there, for different reasons, completely against that. Because this is the political reason. This has nothing to do with the essence of the agreement. This is just a dirty political tricks. And that's what I'm asking from the Jeffrey. Please do not give the grants to the Samopomich. Do not give them money. because this is not a financing for the opposition party. This is the financing of the absolutely irresponsible political leader who is doing very bad things for the future of my country and for the Ukraine, for the security and for the stability. That's, I think, first of all, I am completely satisfied with the messages they received in Washington. They were quite strong and quite decisive.
Yeah.
I think
that
would be a good idea if you continue to have a press on Samopomich, because if Leshko and Tymoshenko, this is a loss, on Samopomich because you support them, in that situation they could give a positive response, because without Samopomich we cannot even expect any positive things on the constitutional changes.
Okay, all right. Well, look,
that would be impossible, because if I can count on me with a law, election law, I can find out the votes. Without Samopomich, I cannot find out the votes on the constitutional changes. This is very simple.
All right. We will do everything to help you to get the votes. Let me ask you one thing before I forget. Privat Bank. I understand the governor of the bank is tentative about setting a date certain for the transition to take place, and I'm being told secondhand that, I don't know this is her position for sure, that she is unsure of a date until she gets an agreement from you. Here's what I've told them. I told them to get back to her and set a date, and I would talk to you about the date. Because this is getting very, very close. What I don't want to have happen, I don't want Trump to get in a position where he thinks he's about to buy onto a policy where the financial system is going to collapse and he's going to be looked to pour more money into Ukraine. That's how he'll think about it before he gets sophisticated enough to know the detail. So anything you can do to push the Privat Bank to closure so that the IMF loan comes forward, I would respectfully suggest is critically important to your economic as well as physical security. I know it's difficult. I know Kolomoisky is a pain in the ass and a problem for everybody, but it really is critical that you guys figure this one out. And you've been good. You've publicly spoken out as I've asked you to do. You've done that. I just want you to give the what's she called, the commissioner, the governor, the governor of the bank, give her some spine. Let her know that you're going to be standing there when she sets a date and moves forward.
This is very important what I hear from you, and I think that on the 22nd of November, on Tuesday, I will have a final report from Ernst & Young audit, and we agreed that me, Prime Minister, Minister of Finance, Governor, I invite Arseny and our security officers should meet and make a decision about the date. The only reason I have, after 22nd, when I have an audit report, we have a voting of the budget in the parliament, where Kolomoisky has a significant number of members of parliament, and the Prime Minister asked me to vote budget first and then launching the process. This is the confidential information, but
I will keep that with me. I will keep that with me.
Well, son of a bitch. Got fired.